This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in a 2010 MazdaSpeed 3. It has been since 2014 since I've driven a MazdaSpeed 3. Back then, the car was a rival of the Focus ST. That's how long ago this was, because there was a debate about which one was better, the Speed 3 or the Focus ST, and then a lot of people just came out and said, you know what, the Focus ST is just basically a newer Speed 3 in a lot of ways. The benefit of the Speed 3 was, at the time, it made more power. It was a little bit rowdier, but the one thing about the Speed 3 a lot of people didn't like was the amount of torque steer this thing had. This is one of the most notorious front-wheel drive, powerful cars for a torque steer, and we're gonna see that today. This one is very special because compared to the last one I did, which was mostly bolt-ons in an earlier platform, basically this has downpipe and a bigger turbo. So this has a Garrett GTX 3071R, the exact same turbo that's on my 2JZ240. And it's one of my favorite turbos out there, not because it makes crazy top-end power, but the way it delivers the power. It's crazy intense. The power comes in hard, comes in fast. There's almost no lag, and that's what I love about it. The motor in this is a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder, extremely similar to the EcoBoost you would find in cars today from Ford. So think Focus ST, think the Mustang with the EcoBoost in it, all that good stuff. The Speed 3 was kind of a granddaddy of those cars in a lot of ways. And at the time, Ford owned Mazda. So what did that mean? They kind of used Mazda as a guinea pig for some stuff. So when you pop the hood, if you look close enough on this motor, you'll see Fomoco stamped on the engine. So that's not evidence, I don't know what is. But what it matter is the Speed 3, it has a hardcore following, and there's always a debate of which one is better, the first generation or the second generation. Now the second generation is the one of what a lot of people think of Mazda 3s in general today, because it was a very long generation with the big ol' happy face up front. Big ol' smile. A lot of people said it looked kind of insect-like, and that's why a lot of people who have the first gen don't like this one as much. They think it's quote-unquote too big and bloated. But you have a little bit more room than the first gen. It's a little bit more comfortable in my opinion. Seats are good, but the interior of the Speed 3 is pretty much the same as the Mazda 3 at the time. This has a 6-speed transmission, and it has an open downpipe that goes straight down under the car. Oh no. So far, it is driving really nice around town, but it is very loud. It's got H&R lowering springs and Kona yellow shocks, so that does help the car have a nice stance to it, lower center of gravity, because they do sit a little high when you first get up. The torque steer is there if you're not careful, and especially with this car making mid 300 horsepower to maybe 380 wheel horsepower, somewhere within that range. It's quite a bit for going to the front wheels. Okay, so we went through an extremely curvy section, and I was not paranoid at all, actually. The power band came in really solid, pretty smooth. I was a little worried it was going to be a little too intense going to the front wheels, but no, it was fine. And I'm actually very glad I'm driving this car today, and you're going to ask probably, why this car? The reason is I just reviewed the Veloster N from Hyundai. The Veloster N nowadays has kind of filled the gap between a good price range and a hot hatch that has a turbo on it in a 2-liter displacement engine. Oh, I missed. The reason I missed a gear there, and I'm gonna leave it in the video because I have humility, is that I was actually shocked how quick it was from a 40. It felt really, really good. I hit a bump and the whole car went to the right and I was like, oh no! So I got distracted. It happens. You have confidence for just a little bit, right? It's like, oh, it's going straight. And then when you get to the full power to the wheels, it's like, nope. It's like, it's gonna go left to right a little bit. Even though these cars have limited slips in them, still there. You know, still gonna have that weave left to right sometimes. So if you think about it, Focus is gone, Fiesta is gone. The GTI is a good value for the money, but in my opinion, the Veloster is actually more fun to drive, which you're gonna think I'm crazy because the first Veloster was not great, but the new one's great. But this, it has a great stance to it. It drives fun, and it has that sense of rowdiness you might be looking for that the more modern cars don't have. You go into third, and you just kind of roll into it. One thing you do want to do though with this car is you don't want to roll, or you don't want to basically flat foot it under 3,000 RPM because it does put a lot of load on this engine, because believe it or not, there's still a stock bottom end on this thing. So essentially, just be smart about it. It's got a comm access port. You can see everything. As long as everything is up to temp, up to date, all that good stuff, tune's good, you should be fine with this setup. Ease into it. Going like at the very top of it. I've never experienced a Speed 3 like this. Like, I've experienced tuned ones, I've experienced E85 ones. This is a whole nother thing, completely different thing. So red line in this is 7,500 RPM, and guess what? Your boy David has short shifted every single time. So I was being careful. Oh, now I'm gonna actually do it now. So, all right, 7,500, let's do it. Definitely have to take your time with your shifting in this car. If you don't, it locks you out, which of course makes me feel a little bit better, but at the same time, you gotta take your time with your shifts or it just will not let you go into gear. Another thing I wanna add is the color of this car. I totally forgot that this was a Mazda factory color. It is absolutely gorgeous. It has this really intense gold flake that you can't really notice at first, but then you get it in the sun and it looks incredible. It looks great, because a lot of the times when you see these, you see them in silver or gray. Nothing that interesting, except the really nice turquoise blue color. I really did like that because obvious is obvious and I'm ThatDudeinBlue. So, but I don't know, man. A part of me thinks they just went crazy with this thing. And they were like, you know what? Let's just put a freaking turbo engine in the Mazda 3 and see what happens. Because you get in the Miata, you're super confident. You get in, let's say, I don't know, MazdaSpeed 6, it's all-wheel drive, you're pretty confident. You get in this thing and you put it in the wrong hands, I don't know, man. Like, it would start to go in the road, it follows the divots in the road and all that good stuff. But at the same time, if you like that kind of tension feeling of, I don't know if I'm gonna be okay, like, this is one of those cars. Especially with a big turbo, you know, I rarely see these with big turbos. I know a lot of people go direct meth injection and, you know, E85 and all that. I love that this is a pump gas car that can be driven every single day with a good gearbox that feels solid. This has a short shifter in it, but even the factory one, if I remember right, felt pretty good. But the short shifter is what really makes it. It's really good. big turbocharged Mazda Speed 3. Do you think the Speed 3 should actually come back? Because I know Mazda has rumored about something coming back like this, but we don't know when, we don't know what. So on that note, let me know what you guys have to say down in the comments below. And also, I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.